Yoav, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome, and I'm happy to be here.
Yoav, your company is a provider of intelligent machines for the fabrication of additively manufactured electronics used in drones, cars, defense systems. Talk to us about this technology and its many uses.
Our technology aims for the electronic industry. The electronic industry is really have two major sub-industries which are very big: printed circuit board industries and semiconductors. Both of them have been moving out to the east for a long time now. Intel cannot even manufacture their own CPUs, and they're moving it to Taiwan. Somewhere in between them comes our technology, which is a digital machine, very sophisticated, that involves injecting in 3D dimensional technology two materials, conductive and dielectric, and the machine manufactures a very unique PCB in 3D, which is an electronic device forced between a semiconductor and a regular PCB. And we're doing it with 3D technology, converting a digital file of a designed device into a final product.
Who are some of your customers for the technology?
Well, the vertical market segments that immediately responded to this early bird technology was of course, the academics industry and the defense. The defense is 50% of our customers nowadays. About 30%, 25% is academics, and 25% is rest of electronic industry. The defense, including all the names you know of the large defense manufacturers, which I can't formally mention, but you name a name and it's there. And other people like pseudo defense, like 2 or 3 secret services, government-owned secret services in Europe, the American Army, the American Navy, etc.
How are they actually using the technology? How are they deploying it?
We have two kind of, call it business models. One is we sell the machine, and one is we sell services. When they buy a machine, the machine is on wheels, they put it in their lab. It's totally self-contained. It is like a huge printer if you look at the printer from HP, but this is an industrial printer. It has cartridges of inks. One ink is silver, one ink is dielectric. They design their prototyping for the very sophisticated devices, insert the design into the machine's computer, and it prints out a printed circuit board in 3 dimensions, including very, very small with accuracies of 2, 3, 4 microns and such.
Yoav, how big is the market opportunity? Who are your competitors, if any?
Okay, so as you realize, Dave, when we come with a new technology like that, which means there's nobody else actually that can print two materials that are so different from each other in one run and create a product with these two materials working together. So it's an education process. So I looked at market researchers and spoke with the researchers, and the best estimates I could get is they believe it's going to be $800 million within 3 years and close to $1 billion within 4 or 5 years. What we did by ourselves, by bottom-up research, is we started to count the machines we can sell into education, for instance, by looking at all the education institutions around the world that have a special electronic department and research. And we also searched research papers on the subject that we are doing. And we found about potential for 400 to 500 machines. And once you go into the defense industry and into production, this number goes 10 times. And just to give you an example, we sold 27 machines last year. So obviously we're in an early stage. And because many organizations actually had a frozen budget for capital expense, and our machines are expensive, $350,000, $400,000 a piece, we opened and we started a service department, which is called Nano Services. And we use our machines. We have 2 fabs, 3 actually, one in Hong Kong, one in Florida, and one in Israel. And we use that, and people are now calling us, sending us their design. We produce it for them as a prototype and send it back to them, and it started to grow as a business by itself.
So you have first mover advantage that you're leveraging very aggressively. You recently announced a $17 million offering. What's the overall cash position today, and how do you plan to deploy that capital?
Okay, we raised, you're absolutely right, last week 16.9. Together we have about $65 million of cash and no debt. We raised the total $65 million over the last 3-4 months. And the way we got our shareholders excited, and some of them, we did it in 4 rounds, and some shareholders that invested in the first, invested in the second and the third as well, is investors understand that in a situation like this, it's the best of all worlds. From one side, we have a business with 30, 40 customers that are early adopters. It's a business that the technology will reach inflection point within the next few quarters. It will expand like a biotech investment that reaches, stage 3, stage 4, and the right molecules are there. But the other side is, if we are slower or if we are late, we still have a business that is growing and we can eventually sell it. There's no downside like there is in biotech where the investment has huge upside, but if the molecule doesn't work, you lost your investment. So investors understood that we have about 1.5 to 2 years runway before competition will get closer. And the use of proceeds, to the last part of your question, is going to be, while the corona is still around, mostly invested in accelerating a product roadmap. So with the machine, the new versions that are coming up in 2 quarters are going to be ahead of what we expected. We have the financing. And the minute we see the corona starting to subside and budgets are being relaxed, we'll push a lot of this budget into marketing and sales.
Excellent. Are there any analysts covering you today?
We had one analyst from Think Equity that wrote a short one after one of the financing. I have analysts from NIDAM and other places talking to me, but they didn't manufacture the report yet.
Well, I was informed by a family office that we work with that one of the biggest fund managers in the small cap space has been accumulating your stock. She loves it. She's built a very large position, very much believes in your company and your technology, and so do I. In fact, I own 75,000 shares myself. Yoav, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. And since we're close in Florida, next you come and see how it works on location. It's a nice trip to Florida.